Disney announced today their lineup for the 2026 After Dark events. We're going to talk about what's coming back and what's new. And if you're a fan of these shows, if you're a fan of the After Dark events, stay tuned because the What's New segment is going to be really, really interesting. Let's get started. Checking out the Disneyland website, here's what we got. We're going to get 5 After Dark events this year. By the way, we'll just start off right there by saying that's one more than what we got last year. Last year we had just 4, and I thought that was interesting that they sort of pared down the scale of these After Dark events to the point where I thought maybe they weren't doing as well as they had hoped. We're getting 5, so they've added one. The ones that are returning, Sweethearts Nite, Disney Channel Night, which is one they did, I think, in 2004. Star Wars Night, that comes back every year. And then Pride Night, we're now going on our 3rd year in a row for that one. And then the new one, the new event, is going to be Disneyland 70 Years of Favorites. Now, before we get into the review of those events and what they mean or what we should expect, let's first define what is an After Dark event. It's a situation where they close the park, the entire park at Disneyland, to all guests except for those that have a paid ticket for that event. It's a separately paid ticket from your general admission ticket. It's what they call a hard ticket event. For example, as an annual pass holder, I cannot go to these events. As part of my annual pass, I have to pay that separate ticket. Meanwhile, if you want to go to Disneyland that same day, if you do buy an After Dark event and you want to go for that night, if you want to be in the park for a rope drop, that's a whole other ticket that you have to buy. So that's a point of discussion we might get into in a little bit. But the hours for these events are from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. That's the actual event, 4 hours. And then if you you can get into the park, I think it's 6 p.m. it is. If you buy these tickets, you can get in as early as 6 p.m. and you can just run around and do regular Disneyland stuff, not the After Dark stuff. That stuff doesn't get activated, doesn't start happening until 9 p.m. Now, we mentioned that there are 4 returning ones. This is the first one, Sweethearts Nite. They've been doing that every year now for, I want to say, like 4 years now. Let's take a look at that. Actually, there's going to be, let's see, Sweethearts Nite has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dates, starting January 22nd through February 17th, obviously to include actual Valentine's Day, I hope. So that's actually one of the more full calendars that they do a lot of those events. We've been to 1 or 2 of those. Pretty fun. You're going to get a cavalcade. You're going to get karaoke at the Golden Horseshoe. You're going to, obviously, photo ops, character meet and greets, that kind of thing, and specialty food. That's a staple for these After Dark events, is the specialty food. Next one coming back is the Disney Channel Night. Those are just 3 nights, April 12th, April 14th, and April 16th. They did this one in 2004, I want to say. And this is that slot where they alternate between, like, there was Throwback Night, there's 90s Night, there's 80s Night. This one is Disney Channel Night. They're all kind of interchangeable depending on, where they rest in the timeline. But that's the slot that they often interchange. Last year it was it 90s Night? I think last year was 90s Night. Yeah. And then Star Wars Night, that's every year. They do this every year no matter what. We're getting 4 nights of those, and these happen right around Star Wars Day, May 4th. So you're going to get April 28th, April 30th, May 4th, and May 6th. This one is probably the most fun for the widest range of guests, and you get some of the best meet and greets during Star Wars Night. When we went, we enjoyed that one more than others. And then for the 3rd year in a row, we're getting Pride Night. That's 2 nights, June 16th and June 18th. And again, all of these events have their own specialty food, character meet and greets that are themed appropriately for that event, photo ops, and things to do, fun, dance parties, or in the case like at the Golden Horseshoe where they have the karaoke. So and it's pretty fun. They're pretty fun nights, I have to say. My only gripe would be you only get 4 hours to do it, and you kind of have to pick your battles. The queues to meet the meet and greets are sometimes insurmountable. But I don't want to get into that yet. Let's go back and talk about, for those of you who are watching this just for the new stuff, what's new. That is 70 Years of Favorites. Obviously, this is playing into the 70th anniversary. That's still going, apparently. I have completely forgotten about it or lost interest. But the 70th is still going. And this event will be catered around that. Let's see. Let's look at the website. They got just two nights for this. That increases demand. March 3rd and March 5th. And the website right away includes Flick. Fascinating. That's fascinating. By the way, there's this clip from Disneyland Parks or Disneyland Resort President Thomas Mazloum. And, it's a fun little thing where he's trying to make a list of the things that he wants to include, perhaps. On this list from Thomas Mazloum, he's got long-lost characters from the Disney afternoon. Obviously, for those of you who've lived through the 90s, then you'll know that that was an animated series. I think it was like a couple hours. And they would do, I think that's where, what is his name? Launchpad McQuack? That's the guy in the logo there? That's people, or it was after my time, I should say. But that's definitely a throwback type situation there. Mother and father on his list. There's some speculation. Who could mother and father be? There's a different ideas, different possibilities. But if you're thinking about Disney parks, that's got to be Carousel of Progress, right? Mother and father from Carousel of Progress. This is not a new situation. We've had mother and father in the parks before. That was during Throwback Night, I believe. Merlin, which is great. Merlin is a fantastic meet and greet. He's a very fun character. I'm assuming he's going to be a face character, so we're going to be able to have a conversation with him. Then you've got Phantasmic Monkeys. When I saw that, I didn't quite understand what he meant, but you're going to be able to meet the Phantasmic Monkeys. It's going to be a meet and greet. And then at the end, he taps the glass and that little miniature Bugs Land. Guys, I don't know how they did this. They've got him saying hi to Flick. Do they have that set up somewhere before? That's Bugs Land with the overgrown grass. Anyway, you can meet Flick and Ada. That's in there as well. And then we found also a list of other things that might be included in this night. Photo ops are going to include Mad Tea Party, the Main Street Electrical Parade. That's going to be fun. I would assume they're going to put like the train or whatever lit up and you can take a picture with the train. Club Buzz. I don't know what that is, to be honest. and then some various beloved attractions. This is according to this little write-up that we've seen. And then music and entertainment. This is great. I know there's going to be hype for this. Videopolis at Tomorrowland Theater. People, they have a lot of nostalgia for tomorrow or for Videopolis. Maybe they'll even serve churros back there. If you guys know, if you know, you know. Look for Videopolis and then line dancing at the Golden Horseshoe. And then character-wise, we've got long-lost characters from the Disney afternoon. So that's what we know so far about the 70 years of favorites. It sounds a lot like they've sort of mixed together the Throwback Night, which again, that was pretty fun. We had a good time at that. There was a lot of really cool characters, especially in Tomorrowland. Sort of throwing, it's all throwback. It's all nostalgia, right? So Throwback Night, maybe 90s night, where you might have seen some of those that like Launchpad, and they kind of mix those together. So it's the nostalgic night, which is going to draw a lot of attention. Just 2 nights though. Now, as I mentioned at the outset, this does signal sort of the idea that perhaps they're ready to get back in more detail into the After Dark events. They're prepared for more of that, where I thought they might be scaling back. Personally, I'm not going to any of these. we have opted out, but for different reasons. I will say this. I think it's great that people like these. I think there's absolutely potential for a lot of fun. People really enjoy them. The people that I've met, the last one we went to, Pride Night, was so much fun. We had such high energies. We made a lot of friends that night. And the same thing for Throwback Night and for Disney Channel Night. It's really fun to see people get excited and participate in things like this. It's the most fun that we have because it's something that we can't have those kind of nights at the park. The experiences that we have at any of these After Dark events, you cannot have during a regular park visit. But we opt out. We do them once, and then that's pretty much it. We opt out, especially like Star Wars Night. We've seen it, been there, done that. They don't change. It's very difficult. A lot of pressure to get as much as you can, done as you can in those 4 hours. You have to basically pick your battles. You can't do everything. You can't even come close to doing everything. I remember for Star Wars Night a couple years ago, you could meet Anakin and Queen Amidala, right? So that was a very popular meet and greet. You would wait an hour to meet those guys. Now imagine you're only getting 4. So you've invested a lot of your time into just doing that. The food sells out quickly. It's hit or miss on the food. But really for me, it seems like the basic draw is getting to do things that you can't normally do when you go to Disneyland. And so on that note, I think the only night that we might be inclined to go is that, 70th or 70 years of favorites or however. We're going to skip Pride Night. We're going to skip Star Wars Night, and we're going to skip Disney Channel Night because we've done those. And I already know what's going to happen. I've already had that experience, I guess. But again, I would certainly not saying that is to suggest that you shouldn't do it. It's definitely worth it, like I said, just in terms of being able to do something that you couldn't normally do. Those are all we have. That's all the information we have right now. We'll keep our eyes and ears open. I want to know what you guys are planning to do. If you're planning to go, if you're excited about this, what kind of After Dark event do you want to see come back? I personally am excited for the idea that people can do Videopolis. I think that's going to be a huge hit. Being able to do Videopolis again at the Tomorrowland Theater, that's what that place should be. The Tomorrowland Theater needs stuff like that, but on a regular daily basis, every time you go to the park, it should be available, not just for these After Dark events. We'll see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.